Hola, y'all. Let me put you right back. Hola, y'all. Honey, I had to move this thing over. Ooh, let me make sure. Let me tell this veterinarian receipts that I just had to spend on and make sure these dogs is okay. Okay, I just decided to go live on my laptop, honey, because I'm like, okay, computer, phone, I love you, but I just sat down to eat me some fish and grits. Y'all see, I got my, isn't this so nice? Like, oh, that's a good background right there. Okay, I need to let y'all see the hills. Although when my homegirl was over here, she was like, "Is that the projects?" Because like people live over here and they got all this stuff on the balcony. You know, on the East Coast, when we see somebody on the balcony, like when we see people keeping their stuff on the balcony, that instantly says like projects. But no, honey, these the hill. But in fact, why was I have a friend of mine that lives in this building, and she was like, "I'm never moving because it's rent controlled," you know. Um, I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Yes, isn't your building rent control?" And I'm like, "No, my last building used to be rent control, but no, not this building." Honey, she got around to telling me what rent control is for her, and she was like, "Cause right now, I'm not moving because I pay 3,500." I was like, "I'm out the conversation." Rent control is 3,500 to you? Honey, people be out here and they be having some faith, okay? Here I am, I be having to do certain things to worry about to get my rent in, so I don't have to worry. And child, they talk about 3,500. It can't go up? I'm like, it's already up. That's why it can't go up. Shoot, that is mortgage rent. Oh my word! Talk about doing things though to keep my to keep my um to keep my anxiety controlled. Today, the message was about the message in church was about having anxiety in your faith. When I tell you, I swear this church is just like the Lord has all these people to gather here every week just so they could hear Him talk to me directly. Because, honey, I am guilty. Anxiety in my faith. I am super guilty of that because the thing is, I'm such a person that likes to, I'm a producer. Of course, a talent on camera too, but like I am a producer. I'm a person that puts stuff together. So, when you putting stuff together by trade, you control every detail. Well, in the kingdom, you don't control every detail. You trust that every detail will be handled. And so sometimes I am praying for what the pastor says for the thing that I would do if I was in control. I'm praying for that. And I can't get the anxiety down because the anxiety is in the faith when I just need to give up control. I need to give up the end results. And they even talked about sitting with the Lord, like how we like how you're supposed to sit with the Lord. They was just like even anxiety enters into that sitting. You know, sometimes we sit with the Lord, but then we so used to doing stuff that we just can't just sit. So we just immediately get back to doing something, think of what to do. And I'm talking about guilty of it all, guilty of it all because when you praying to the Lord for like to work for yourself, you know, like I'll wrestle with like, should I get a part-time job? Having a part-time job doesn't mean I don't work for myself. It means I am uh I am while I'm waiting on the Lord to deliver, I am still taking the reins and just like, okay, I'll just get, get something part-time over here, But then I always battle with like, mm, I want to make sure I don't go back on my faith. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed for the Lord like to work full time. But all of that is anxiety. Like my friend said last night, God is not gonna be mad with you if you get a part-time job. He is not gonna be like, oh, you don't have faith, you ain't waiting on me. Honey, he is gonna bless whatever you do in good faith, in good, just trusting. He always delivers. For my entire 50 years, he's delivered. First of all, just me even still being here has been a big deliverance. Let me show y'all what I mean. Fish and grits. Whenever I make some fish, thank you for my like. Whenever I make some fish, honey, I don't throw that sauce out. Or you know how like it's bits and pieces in the fish? I do not throw that out. I save that. I season up a little more gravy. I make a little more gravy to it. And honey, I put that right over the fish. I mean, the grits. I love fish and grits. It's like egg and grits, but it's more seasoned. You know, I am a meat eater, and I like fish, but I'm gonna just forever be a meat eater. Mm, 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 mm. I'm going to this I'm going to this Kiki Wyatt performance today. This gonna be the first day that I actually just went out and ain't think about tomorrow. I'm just gonna going out and I'm just gonna try. And the thing is, I feel like I be doing it, but just when hearing this message, I'm like, no, I have to. I want to actually do it. I want to actually just be like, all right, I just let everything go. I did all I can do, and I just want to just like trust. That's my new mission. Is to have total trust. I swear, if I wasn't producing stuff, I wouldn't even be worried. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing is, it's all self-induced. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't have a show coming up, honey, I wouldn't even be worried about. Or maybe I would just pick something else to be worried about. Because honey, when you a worry ward, that worry be happening from over here, over there. I feel like it's a catch-22 though, because when I am like, I just can't not produce something. It's my that's been me my entire life. I have to create something. I have to produce it. I need to produce something. And this time it's the juke joint. The last time it was the juke joint. Like I've always been producing something for about my entire career because that's how you keep your career moving. You produce something. Like you don't wait and be like, hopefully the improv will give me a call. You don't wait for the improv, honey. You go and make your own improv night. Maybe you can do a night at the improv, which I used to do. But when it's not at the improv, is you make it somewhere because that's really what it is. You keep it going. Some people they tour with agents. Some people have they on television. Some people have big managers that get them on stuff, and then I just always feel like it's the Lord that's managing me, and then He does. he does be coming through, like with the visions that he gives me, they come through. Like, I didn't have anyone to offer me a special, but the Lord put it on my heart to do a half hour special, to do a hour special. Then I was gonna be doing it with these other people. Then of course that didn't work out. But then we had discussed the ideas of, like, the visions of how we saw it. So I just kept with the vision. And then I went back to the people that it was going to, distribute it. And then I was just like, I didn't want to seem like I'm, we done broke up the group already, before we even shot anything. But I did have to go back to these people to say, listen, I think I'm gonna go out on my own. Would you guys be open to distributing mine? And then the people said yes, they would be open to distributing my special. Okay, so then I put the whatever little money I had together with my special, and then I just trusted. Then the people did get it on some platforms, and then it's constantly getting on other platforms. At first it was on like Amazon, Apple, Google, Roku. Then it started getting on Cineverse. Then when I check my royalties, it's on JetBlue. Then it's on SiriusXM. Honey, like, then it be on like other little places I be seeing in the royalties report. So when you think about, wanting the big old manager, when I just think about the Lord managing me very well, he is getting it on major platform. And then everywhere I went, somebody would recognize me from the special. They would be like, and then of course, then it got on Tubi. I'm talking about how the Lord has been straight coming through, how that's, I'll always be like, I wish I had me a big old management, because I do see people with these management and this seem like they're doing everything. But then when you think about the Lord being your manager, then he still has me doing everything. You know what I mean? So that's my goal for the week, is to, I'm trying to put my arm here, but that's not real comfortable. Maybe I'm gonna have to make me a little kitchen. This is my kitchen. This is my little area that I set up my laptop sometimes when I work, because I always like to feel like it's like a cafe, like I'm in a cafe working. So, and it gives me that cafe feel, that outside feel, like I can hang outside without being outside. I'm inside outside. I'm inside outside. I talked to my cousin last night, and when I tell you, my cousin is, I feel like he's high functioning autistic. I don't know for a fact, but it's something distinctly different about him. Well, anyway, we was talking about the Sabbath. I told him, he was like, "Did I do anything today?" And I was like, "No, this was yesterday." And I was like, "I didn't do anything because it was a Sabbath." When I tell you, this guy begins to quote scripture about the Sabbath. Like, how they say, like, and that's what makes me think like maybe he's high function autistic. If not, it's something. It's something where they are extremely smart and their memory. And I'm talking about, he had all the scriptures, like it wasn't even a second before he was like, oh yeah, he says in this and this and this, Exodus, this and that, with the Sabbath. And then people think it's it's on the Sunday, but it's actually on the Saturday, because Sunday is the first day. I was like, first of all, this the longest we ever was on the phone. Cause my cousin is a distant cousin that I met out here, but like once he discovered, that we were cousins, then he started just like calling out the blue. And then I looked it up. One time I was just like, let me see what, make sure he ain't married into the family and somebody else family calling me, because no, this was like direct family. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, let me love who love me. Let me show like, let's get the love, let's show the love to the people that's showing me love. And so I just started answering. I just started making sure I called back, because you just can't get too high and mighty for the kingdom. And that's what I make sure too, is like, because he always calls to check on me. And that's how I do my mama too. My mama, I always call to check on her, even though she might not call me because she gets so busy, but what she assumes is she assumes that I assume she all right. And the reason why I'm assuming that I need to hear from you right away and all the time is because of the anxiety, which comes from fear, which I have decided today, you is done. Exactly. I'm done with giving you any more of my time. Okay. Because it always worked out. And then my mama has been saying for my entire life. Like when I call her and I be like, "Mom, why didn't you answer? Ain't anything gonna happen?" And she be like, "Do you know that people got to die?" And I be like, "You die when I say I'm ready." And she be like, "Okay, all right. Well, just so you know, everybody got to go, and so you better accept it right now." And it's just so true. Like I haven't lost her, but I have definitely lost a lot of people, and I'm look like it blows my mind every time. Like, oh my word, what happened? But she wants me to be out here functioning, knowing that life is happening, and that don't spend a minute not living because you worried about not living or somebody that you love not living because everybody gonna go. I see y'all popping in and out. I see y'all popping in and out, honey. This is how the new Dell show is gonna go. And I'm glad too. I'm glad to see it's one person coming in there because I said to myself, I'm coming live every day. I'ma just blog my thoughts and I'ma just grow on camera. And I am just so proud of myself for doing it because it takes some real like willpower to do it, to not think about, okay, so how do I look? Does it look right? Okay, let me get the light. Getting past all of that in the brain. You know what I'm saying? All of that in the brain. Perfection. That's what they were saying too in church today. Is perfectionism. It's straight anxiety, and if you let it go on, you will be burned out. Where's 115? Okay, okay. I'm going to this thing that started at 2 o'clock. Another thing too I'm gonna be praying about is my OCD. I realize too that's why I be late everywhere because leaving this house in disarray, like even this morning I was like I'm gonna go to church on time, and but I woke up on time, okay, and when I took the dogs out back, I looked at the grass. Now I've been watering the grass. I saw the people watering the grass, and the grass started growing in real green. So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be watering the grass because I want the grass to grow in." And sure enough, the grass has been starting to grow in. So now I was just like, "Oh, the grass looking dry. Let me just water." And of course, I had to water the grass before I came back in since I was already out there with the dogs. Watered the grass. Got to church at like 9:15, 9:20. Church started at 9 o'clock. I can't run in here and not take a shower. Got to make up my bed. Got to feed the dog. Got to make sure the cow's straight and right. I just realized that is the source of the tardiness. So that's gonna be my next battle because I keep thinking I want to like volunteer at the church, but child, I don't want to get fired from the church because I've been late. you know, then going there is gonna be uncomfortable. The whole reason I don't volunteer for the church in the first place is because it's so sacred. Like my lessons are so sacred that I want to have a place that I come and ain't no angst. When you be working with people, honey, people be having that. I call it bounceritis or manageritis, like where they need to like control you because they in a position of power, so they feel like they need to control. But again, that's my anxiety too, honey. Bye, anxiety. See you later, anxiety. Because it's really just Satan. Just keep me having me. That's what they talked about in church. They talked about catastrophic thinking. How you always think something gonna go wrong. Well, what if you could think something is gonna go right? Hey y'all. Let me see who y'all is. Let's see if you can see it. Oh, I can't even see it. I can see that two people logged on, but I can't see. You know how like when I'm on stream, y'all, I can click and see like who it is. But anyway, that's what they talked about. Catastrophic thinking is getting rid of that catastrophic thing. You always she said it's really anxiety trying to still hope for the future, like showing you, like giving you a reason not to hope when you got so many. She was like, I want you to, as opposed to being present, look back at the past a lot and see how good God has been. See how much He has delivered you from everything, and keep that in the mind. Because I know for a fact, I know I'm supposed to be doing more at the church. Um, but maybe it's in like small groups too, because I don't know. Again, by anxiety, by thank y'all for tuning into my little daily blog. My hold on, not let me change my word. Thank y'all for tuning into my big old daily blog, my humongous daily blog of my feelings on there. I'm about to. I probably sign back on live too later when I go to this concert, because I'm going to see Kiki Wyatt, and I'm gonna bring my look. My daddy told me. I was telling him, I was like, let me make sure I bring some Tupperware, because I think they said it's gonna be free food out here. Let me make sure I bring some Tupperware. Then my daddy was like, I keep the Ziploc plastic bags, because you could just stuff them down and they don't take up much room. I was like, you are showing up right now, as opposed to Tupperware, honey. Tupperware was in my 40s. Those days have passed. Now it's straight Ziploc bags. That's how I know I'm about to be 50. When I start carrying around Ziploc bags. mm, mm, mm. That's how I know that I'm about to be 50. Okay, it's 1:19. I've been on here for like 21 minutes. Y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you looking at this on playback, hit that subscribe button right now. Hit that subscribe button right now. Okay. Ooh, I just got an idea. Just got an idea for these cover photos. You know what? Okay. Okay. I receive it, Lord. I receive the good ideas. Okay. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I'm gonna see y'all. Don't forget, Tuesday. I do this. I still go live every Tuesday on the Dell Show 2.0. And then Saturday, June 28th is my birthday. It's at the dynastytypewriter.com. If you in LA, or if you know somebody in LA, go to dynastytypewriter.com Saturday, June 28th at 10 p.m. and please join me. My goal is to sell out this show today. Thank you, Lord, for selling it out. I ain't even gonna think about it. Lord, you done sold it out every time. Okay, bye, y'all. Love y'all.